Yo, what is up, everybody? We are live late night here, after midnight here on the East Coast, 11:10 my time here, Central Time, and the first weekend of the NBA playoffs is wrapped up. So we're here live talking about it on the fast break here on the Variety Sports Network. I'm your host, Shoot to Rock. And I'm going to be going through every game here from game one of the NBA playoffs this weekend. So feel free to drop your takes along with me here in the comments because, some of these games, I'm just going to be honest, Easter weekend, traveling today was a little tough to catch all of them. I was trying to see family, stuff like that. So that's why, we do this live, kind of live reactions here to let you guys drop your takes as well. So it's not just me rambling on, but I mean, like this is a Mount Rushmore time of the year. I did this exercise a while ago. So Mount Rushmore, my favorite, like 2 to 3 week stretches on the sports calendar. I said, obviously, March Madness. I talked a lot of March Madness, big college basketball guy. And even that, really, if you're only going 2 weeks, I'm going conference championship week into like the first week of the tournament. Like that's what I'm going for that stretch. Obviously, what was another one I went with? Oh, I said feast week, kind of around Thanksgiving, because that's when, start of college basketball, you got, Maui Invitational, all those kind of tournaments, plus then, college football rivalry week, excuse me, plus, NFL Thanksgiving games are always pretty good. And then, NHL, NBA going on. The other one I said was October, kind of probably like mid to like end October when you got, the world, like MLB playoffs, but especially the World Series. NHL and NBA are starting up, and then you already got NFL, college football going on. So like that's a great stretch right there. And then probably my favorite one I'm going this week here. I think the first 2 weeks of just the NBA, NHL playoffs combined, that's like the closest you get to this March Madness feel here in pro sports, just because, there's at least a doubleheader on every, like there's 2 to 3 games on, or like 3 to 4, honestly, especially here these first couple days, every night for each league. So like there's, if one game's a blowout, there's most likely another one you can go and just turn on, and it's going to be a great game because that's, how postseason works. There's a lot of great games. And I mean, the end of that Rockets Warriors game, that was a very good game. That's kind of why, I waited here. It was one of those, I was traveling back. I was originally just going to go live straight when I got here, but then I was like, man, this game's good. Like I gotta take in the end of this game. So we'll get to that one. We'll probably close out with that one. I think I'm just gonna go, just to keep it simple, go in order, starting the first game on Saturday, and then just kind of go through here through Sunday night. So first one here, game one, Indiana Pacers knock off the Milwaukee Bucks 117-98. And this was one, it was very rowdy. This was a place they actually got the fans to wear the shirts. That's been a big debate online. If your fans aren't wearing the shirts, are they really invested? Is it really, a rowdy atmosphere? I'd say it's probably not. And this is one Indiana pretty much just like led throughout. They're up 33-25 at the end of the first, but then 34-18 outscored Milwaukee in the second quarter, really turned it on. Did get outscored in the third, and then, only outscored them by 2 in the second. But really, it was that second quarter where they just put Milwaukee away. Really, the biggest headline from this one, it's got to be the Kyle Kuzma putting up the Tony Snell stat line. Like he was doing cardio. In 21 minutes, Kyle Kuzma had 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 points, was a -24. And that was my biggest fear here for the Bucks. Who is going to be that second option with Dame out? Giannis got his. Giannis had 36 points. He still was a -18, but 36 points, 12 rebounds. Like Giannis was Giannis. You can't fault Giannis. But who was the Robin? There was no Robin. This next second best, their second leading scorer was AJ Green off the bench because he was just chucking threes. He went 5 of 11 from 3. And he didn't make any shots inside the arc. He was 5 of 13 on the game, 5 of 11 from 3. Gary Trent Jr., same thing, 14 points off the bench, but he's taking 11 shots. Like these guys are just kind of chucking. 12 points from Kevin Jr. on 7 shots, so not horrible. mean, 2 of 7 though. So like yeah, most of his points came to the line. He had 8 free throws. So yeah, really just no one for Milwaukee stepped up to be that help outside of Giannis. And it does sound like, Dame could be on the way. He's recovered a lot quicker than people thought he would, but I don't know, man. If the Bucks get another effort like this, like the series could be over before Dame even gets back, and that would just be really disappointing. I mean, I did pick the Pacers to win this series, but I said it was going to be a 7-game series. Like, this was one I could see going either way. Milwaukee really just has gotten unfortunate injury luck last 2 years in the playoffs. Like, Giannis has only played 2 playoff games the last 2 years, and they've been bounced in the first round both times. So like, now they finally have him, but now Dame's out. Granted, he's been coming back, but this first game effort just was not acceptable from the Bucks. Like, just not. There was no one else really to score the ball, and they just really didn't. They just didn't like play well, well enough defensively to make up for that lack of scoring. Because on the Indiana side here, we got Siakam with 28 points, Miles Turner with 24. Like, they're just feasting inside. No real answer for them. Both shooting, over 55% from the field. Pascal Siakam, he's making 2 out of 3 shots he took. And then he was inside out game for him because he shot 3 of 5 from beyond the arc as well. So just really, really impressive game from him. Or sorry, I was looking at the plus minus. It was 25 points from Siakam, 19 from Turner, 17 from Andrew Nembhard as well. Tyrese Haliburton only had 10, but he had 12 assists. So he was, getting it done in other ways kind of thing. And that's kind of what you're looking for in a playoff series is, if kind of maybe your main guy gets taken away, can he affect the game in other ways? And Haliburton did that on Saturday, with that double-double, came close to triple-double, 3 rebounds away. And you also got guys like TJ McConnell and Benedict Mathurin with, double-digit points off the bench. So it's really just an all-around team effort. Obviously the two bigs really feasting inside for Indiana, but other than that, pretty just all-around team effort. And yeah, this is one where just Milwaukee did not look good. They're going to have to look like a completely different team. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to have to change. I mean, okay, this is just the shot chart. But yeah, Milwaukee's biggest lead was 3 points in the first quarter. After that, like, let me share this screen just because like this graphic is just crazy here on what happened in this game. Like, look at this chat. Look at this. Look at all the yellow. Like, Indiana dominated this game. This game was never in doubt. Led by as much as 28 points. Only 4 lead changes the entire game. And that's like when it goes from Indiana to Milwaukee, back to Indiana, back to Milwaukee, back to Indiana. And then from then on out, whatever, can you even like see? No, I guess you can't click like that. But yeah, that was the biggest lead. Or like, and once Indiana took the lead back in the first quarter, Milwaukee was never back in it. So, getting dominated like that, like that's granted. Here's the good thing, and I'm probably gonna echo this a couple times throughout this video. It's only one game. Do they get embarrassed? Yes, but it's only one game. It only counts as one loss. Indiana could win 3 games in a blowout and lose 4 close games, and the point spread for the entire series would be way in Indiana's favor, but Milwaukee would win the series. So that's the beauty here. So, but it's going to take a big regroup effort. They're going to have to find some more defensive stoppers inside. Kuzma's going to have to actually score. Can't just be doing cardio here in the playoffs. And that was kind of my fear. Chris Middleton has really been a big playoff performer for the Bucks. And that was, another injury they suffered, the year after they won the title when he was out and they ended up losing to the Celtics in 7 games. Like, Chris Middleton was kind of their secondary playoff performer, and now he's not on the team. Understandably so, but it's going to take someone else to step up if the Bucks are going to make this a series. So moving on, this was the best game of the weekend, and I'm disappointed that I didn't really get to watch it until kind of like the end. Had some family stuff going on, but the Nuggets knock off the Clippers 112-110 in overtime, and this is a game where a lot of people like to shit on Russell Westbrook, say, he's not a winning basketball player, he used to just be a stat patter. But, and, there was, that Indiana or that game against Minnesota a couple weeks ago, like I was tweeting out about, like, he cost them that game. He took a layup late that he didn't need to take, and then he fouls on a 3, Minnesota wins in overtime kind of thing. So it's not like he's just all the time, making these winning plays. But because he plays hard, that's what, sometimes you'll get those blunders. But then you also get games like Saturday where he forces a turnover off the inbound. He hit a clutch three in at the end of regulation. And yeah, so that's that. Like Russell Westbrook, it's one of those things where the box score, like I said, I read the box scores, on this show a lot, but it's one of those things where it's not going to show in the box score. But that's the kind of player he is. He makes game-winning plays that show up outside of the box score. So he forced not him all alone, but like the Clippers turned the ball over 20 times. Like Denver forced 20 turnovers, including 7 from Kawhi Leonard. Like that's just crazy. They're usually, that's just very uncharacteristic for the Clippers. And then obviously, Nikola Jokic. He's obviously had a great game. He's the leader of the team. I remember I saw a stat on SportsCenter last night. It was like he's now tied for the third most times that a player has led his team in points, assists, and rebounds in a playoff game. 2 guys he's behind LeBron James, obviously, and then Luka Doncic, who they're now on the same team. So that obviously, like, that'll make it kind of easier to LeBron was like way ahead. Like no one's probably catching LeBron. LeBron's number was like in the 70s. Everyone else was like in the 30s. Luka might have been in like the 40s or 50s kind of thing. But it will make it easier for Jokic to catch those guys. But yeah, Jokic with 29 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. 1 rebound shy of a triple-double here in the first playoff game. He's the best player in the world. I keep saying it. I'm going to say it every show until he gets knocked out. Even when he gets knocked out, I still think he's probably the best player in the world. The team that knocks him out might just be better. And honestly, that could be after this first round, because like this game it was very back and forth. Like Clippers could have very easily won this game. Nuggets tried to give it away at times, but it was a very, very entertaining game. I'm really excited for this series. I was saying it kind of all along that I really think these 4 or 5 matchups should really be like really intriguing, should be good series. Granted, we did not see it in game 1 of Indiana and Milwaukee, but we definitely saw it here in game 1 between Denver and the Clippers. So also, we have Aaron Gordon, 25 points for him, 21 from Jamal Murray as well. So the big 3, really stepped up. Like I said, even Russell Westbrook, 15 points, 8 rebounds. So he was, he's +7. So he's one of those guys. He makes winning plays. Definitely kind of a little bit of a disappointing game from Michael Porter Jr. Well, I guess Aaron Gordon was like a 0 ±. But Michael Porter Jr. is a -8. Also only had 3 points on the game. Like did not shoot the ball. Like I feel like he kind of has to be a little bit more confident and like take a bigger role. Granted, you have every other starter scoring in double digits, and then also with Russ in double digits. But Michael Porter Jr. is too talented of a player to like not have impact in a playoff series, and that's really what I think like Denver's like top 5-6 guys, they really have to be the ones to kind of keep pushing the gas pedal, like all gas, no brakes, really, step on the Clippers' throats, kind of thing. Like just put them. It can't be like when a close game when it goes to the bench. Like it really's got to be the starters that kind of take initiative here. So I need to see more from Michael Porter Jr. in this series going forward. The fact, they get the win without him really playing well, that just kind of shows how dominant a guy like Jokic is, and just kind of what a good game, Jamal Murray had, and how, an unsung guy like Russell Westbrook can step up in these big moments. Looking at the Clippers side, Kawhi Leonard was their leader with 22 points. Like I mentioned, 7 turnovers. Very uncharacteristic from him. He's got to kind of value the ball more. Not kind of, he has to value the ball more. That's just something where if he isn't turning the ball over, Clippers probably win this game kind of thing. Zubac also had 21 points in this one. So him and Jokic battling, that was really, really entertaining, really fun to watch. Like I said, I think that's going to be fun to watch all series. Zubac was a -8, but I think that's just kind of what's going to happen because, he had 21 points, 13 rebounds. So the fact that he still got his offensive numbers on top of, battling with Jokic, obviously, didn't slow him down, but, he made things difficult for him. It didn't make it easy. So it wasn't like Jokic, he didn't take Jokic out of the game by any means, but it's going to be a battle. And that's where, if it goes to a 7-game series, can a guy like Zubac kind of wear down Jokic, where eventually, all this physical battling will kind of slow him down a little bit. And then obviously we got Harden leading score, 32 points for him. Shot 50% from the field, 44%, made four of 9 of his threes, so 44%. Made all 6 of his free throws. So he's just prolific scorer. That's James Harden. It's a lot of fun to watch, especially come playoff time. He really turns it up to another gear. So if I'm the Clippers, like, this is one where it's painful that it's a game that got away, but you're also on the road. You really just have to win one of these 2 first games on the road, which I think they've set themselves up to be in a good spot to win one of those games. So I'm not sweating it too much if I'm the Clippers. Like I said, this is a really fun series. I hope we get a lot of high caliber games like that, because it's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping we get that again. I believe they play game 2 on, I believe that's tomorrow night. Yes, it is. The second game of the TNT doubleheader. So I'm definitely excited for that one. Excuse me. So then moving on to the first game tomorrow night's doubleheader, third game here on Saturday. The New York Knicks knock off the Detroit Pistons 123-112. This is one that was looking like Detroit, had it won. They outscored the Knicks by 10 points in the third quarter. They led by, or they're only down 2 at half, but led heading into the fourth. But then it was a 21-0 run for the Knicks that just ended the game. Like, that was kind of it. And that's one of those where then you kind of see, it just felt like the moment was too big for the Pistons. Madison Square Garden, most historic arena in the world. This Knicks team that now has been in the postseason, I believe 3, maybe even 4 straight years. Like, they're a team that now they have that playoff experience. They got winning players on their team. All these Villanova guys were playing big games in college. Like the Jalen Brunsons of the world, scoring 34 points in this one. It was one of those where the moment just got too big for Detroit, and the more experienced players came out on top. So it was a lot of fun to watch them go on that run, just see the Garden be rocking. So like I mentioned, they're led by Brunson, 34 points for him, as well as 8 assists. But the real big kind of guys that really flipped the game was Karl Anthony Towns, 23 points. He was a plus 22, also at 11 rebounds. Like, there was just really no answer for him inside. And then OG Anunoby also was getting his, 23 points for him, plus 10. 7 rebounds, 5 steals. So really good game for him. And then Josh Hart, plus 20 as well, with 13.7 rebounds, 6 assists, doing what he always does, what he's been doing for the next past couple of years, playing that, while he is, the height of a guard, but plays more of that forward role. And it's been very entertaining to watch. So this is, like I said, I want to see this. Let me go to the game chart here, just show you guys this chart, because this is it's just crazy to look at some of these. Share my screen real quick here. So as you can see, okay, I gotta add it to stage. There we go. So like the Knicks were up, Pistons, took a lead late second quarter. Knicks kind of took it back. Really like back and forth, I guess, because that's only 5. So really all these, it was close pretty much all game. And then here, the third quarter, start of the fourth is when the Pistons, they really go up, they're up by as much as, I guess not 10. They're never up double digits, but they were up and they were looking like they were going to steal game 1 here in the Garden. And then just the Knicks just straight sloping down all the way to the Knicks. It was Jover after that. 13 lead changes in this game. Longest run, 21-0 run for the Knicks, led by as much as 13. So very solid win here for the Knicks in game 1. This is another one, though, if I'm the Pistons, that's one you feel like you gave it away, obviously. Considering you were up and then you gave up a 21-0 run. But, I mean, you still had guys, getting theirs. Cade scored 21. Malik Beasley had 20 off the bench. Granted, he probably won't shoot 6 of 12 from 3 again. But, if he can kind of shoot it similar to that, or, at least shoot probably 40%. Tobias Harris had 25. Granted, was a minus 16 defensively. So not a great game from him. It was really just kind of Jalen Duren. Only 7 points, only 6 rebounds, and he was a minus 20. So Gonna maybe have to try to find a different stopper for Cat. I don't know. I mean, Isaiah Stewart, sorry, not Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Stewart actually was a +8. So I don't know. Maybe he gets a little bit more run defensively trying to stop Cat. But it's one of those, like, the Knicks were right in there. They just couldn't close it out. And like I said, with young teams, that's gonna happen. But it's another one of those where it's just you have to just take one of the first two games. If you just take one of the first two and then defend home court, you're gonna be chilling. And however, for the Pistons, I think that's going to be a little bit tougher task to defend home court, especially, taking on a team like the Knicks where they just have such a national fan base where, they're trying to do their best. They're doing the thing that a lot of teams are doing now where if you don't live in Michigan, you can't buy tickets for like Pistons home games kind of thing here in the playoffs. But like there's going to be Knicks fans in that building. There's Knicks fans that live in Michigan. There's Knicks fans everywhere kind of thing. And like I said, not a little bit. They are an inexperienced playoff team. So we'll see if, maybe kind of the moment just gets too big for them at home, kind of like seemed to on Saturday. We'll have to see if maybe, they're able to kind of regroup, learn from this. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd say like game 2 is probably a big game where they really need to win. If this is going to be a series, but who knows? Maybe they don't, and maybe they do defend home court. But I guess if I were the Pistons, that one sucks to lose. But if you were able to, kind of finish the job, pull it out game 2, I'm feeling a lot better. Than like feeling like they have a legitimate chance. So going to the final game here on Saturday, I'll flip the hat around for this one so people know. The Lakers first. Or no, not the only. But one of 2 home teams to lose game 1. They fall 117-95, and it really wasn't even that close, if I'm being honest. The third quarter, well, it was the second quarter, really. Minnesota outscored the Lakers 38-20. But just the third quarter is really just, it got the Timberwolves just kind of put it away. And this was my big fear. I didn't think it would maybe show up as much in this series as I thought it would more down the line. But just no interior defense from the Lakers. Granted, that happens when Minnesota shot as well as they did from the outside. Let me just display this graph here again real quick. So yeah, as you can see, the Lakers, they led the whole first quarter. Led start of the second quarter. Then Minnesota took the lead, and they never gave back up. They just went on this big run, led by 25 plus points here in the third quarter, really even late into the fourth. Lakers had a couple short runs to make it look a little bit closer, but yeah, I mean they led by as much as 27. This game just really never was a game. I mean, points in the paint 44-32. Second chance points was close, but yeah, and then fast break points too, 25-6. Minnesota got out and ran. They played the game at their pace. They shot 50% from 3, which granted, who knows if that's sustainable? I'd say probably not, but especially considering they only shot 51% from the field and then 50% from 3. But the Lakers shooting under 40% from the field, turning the ball over 13 times, that's just not acceptable. They got beat on the rebounds, beaten on assists, pretty much every statistical category in this game, and just kind of every facet of this game, Minnesota just dominated. It just really, once that second quarter and then especially the third came around, it was over. Minnesota never gave the Lakers a chance to come back in this game. They really, they kept their foot on the gas. They put their foot on the Lakers' necks, kind of thing, and just dominated this game. I mean, Anthony Edwards hooping. 22 points in this one, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. He's just doing it all. Shot 4 of 9 from 3. Looking at here, we got 23 points from Naz Reid. That's you're in trouble. Naz, granted, don't get me wrong, Naz Reid, good player. But if you're getting cooked by Naz Reid, Lakers are going to be in trouble. He's not a main scorer kind of thing where he's scoring that many points again. Granted, like I said, he shot 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. Do I think he's going to do that again? No. But Naz Reid with 23 points, man. That's something that cannot happen. Looking at 25 from Jaden McDaniels is a plus 27. Same thing. He shot a 3 of 3 from beyond the arc, and then 11 of 13 in total. So, and also had 9 rebounds, though. Like, he was hustling, he was getting boards. Julius Randle was 16 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Same thing for him, 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. So that's just the main thing here. Can Minnesota keep shooting at that clip? And that's the thing, because if they do, the Lakers have to try to take away that outside shot, and that's then when the interior opens up, really, is if you're committing to, hey, let's stop them, close out, make threes, that's when they're going to try to drive the lane. And the Lakers don't have an interior defender to stop that. That's the downside of trading Anthony Davis. On their side, they're led by Luka Doncic, 37 points. I was like, he scored, but like Doris Burke said at one point on the broadcast, like, yeah, he had a really good first quarter, and then they're kind of like, what happened? And he's like, well, he's taking the ball out of the net every possession, so like, you know, he's gonna score, but they were just getting outscored. So if you're not getting stops, he can score. He can score 50 points. It doesn't matter because Minnesota's scoring every possession. I mean, he still shot well. He shot 55% from the field, 50% from 3, 8, and 9 from the line. Like, he shot the ball really well, but Minnesota just shot it even better. And like, he's a minus 12. That's one of the lower plus minuses. We got Rui Hachimura as a minus 26, only with 9 points, 5 rebounds, shooting, 3 of 9 from the field. He didn't make anything inside the arc because he shot 3-7 from 3, which isn't terrible. That's actually like pretty good, I'd say, but didn't make anything else. Like, all he made was threes. So that's really not going to work. I mean, LeBron had 19, but he's a minus 22 in this game. Jackson Hayes, like, that's what I'm saying. That's the Lakers starting center. That's their best, like, defensive big. Maybe not best defensive big, but like kind of their go-to big. He had 1 point and was a minus 11. Like, he got played off the floor. He played 8 minutes. Like, that just can't happen. So, and like looking here at like the bench, like, it's not like anyone like came in and really brought a spark off the bench. Like, it's really just kind of Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves. Can those three outscore Minnesota? And that's not going to be an easy task when you got Anthony Edwards on the other end. You got some of these other guys that can score the ball as well, like a Jaden McDaniels, like a Julius Randle. Like, they have guys here that can score the ball. So maybe I overlooked a little bit. Maybe this isn't a great matchup for the Lakers because it's a battle of teams that can score. I wasn't worried about the Lakers' ability to score. But I guess, yeah, Minnesota's just ability to score, very, very impressive. Like, the Lakers have to play more defense. I mean, they shot 50% from the field. Am I looking at these? Yeah, 50% from the field, 50% from 3. So do I think that's going to happen again? No, I don't think they'll shoot 50%. But I mean, they lost by 22. Like, even if they only shoot 40%, it's not guaranteed they win. So Minnesota, props to them. They took care of business. They've taken 1 or 2 on the road. I think, especially against a team like the Lakers who have that star power, I think you're obviously not going to rust on your laurels and just be happy with that. Like, they're going to want to win game 2. They're really going to put their foot here on the Lakers next, but we'll see. Things got to change for the Lakers if this is going to be a series that they win. So now we move on to Sunday. And game 1 here on Sunday was a blowout. I think that's kind of what set the tone a little bit, where I wasn't watching as much basketball here the rest of the day, or it made it a little bit harder for me to justify keeping basketball on when the family was over. OKC beats Memphis 131-80. They outscored Memphis 36-16 in the second quarter. Holy cow, it is raining super loud. I do not know if you guys can hear that. They led, their biggest lead in this game was 56 points in a playoff game. Memphis scored 80 points in a playoff game. This series is going to be a sweep, bro. This is over. Shout out Memphis. They blew out Dallas on Friday night. Didn't get around to talking about that. I mean, maybe I think kind of deep diving more into kind of some of these teams, like seasons they meet expectations kind of thing. And granted, it's a little bit harder here, since I started doing this show midway through the season. I did do playoff tiers, but I think kind of next year Definitely want to do some sort of like preseason tiers, and then kind of I think that would be a good then reevaluating that kind of after the season. Like Dallas obviously not meet expectations. A team that went to the finals a year ago and now is bounced and didn't even make the actual playoffs. But granted, they probably didn't have trading Luka Doncic as I think trading Luka Doncic definitely tempered their expectations a good amount. So yes, but getting back to Memphis, good win for them, but then just get boat raced by OKC here in game one. Just kind of going through the box score here quick. We got this is the Memphis one. Leaders for OKC, we got J-Dub, Jalen Williams with 20 points, Chet with 19, Hartenstein had 14, Lou Dort had 12, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 15. Leading scorer was Aaron Wiggins with 21. Like, that's what I'm saying. They got points from everybody because Memphis wasn't stopping anyone. They shot as a team. I guess only 50%, but like this just was never was a game. Minnesota as a team, though, I guess that's more what it is. Why did I say Minnesota? Memphis shot 35% from the field, 17% from three, and only 83% from the line. Their starters, Desmond Bane was a minus 51. Jaren Jackson Jr. minus 36, Edey minus 38, Scottie Pippen Jr. minus 39. Like, all their guys that played big minutes were all like minus over 25 points. So the fact like this just wasn't even a game. I really don't have much to say because I didn't tune into this very much. Once it got to a blowout, I just kind of turned it off. I watched other stuff, hung out with my family because this one's wraps. I'll be very surprised if this series goes more than 5 games, especially if what happened in Memphis or what happened in OKC. I can see that happening again. Got a comment from my boy JJ. Just says Curry. We'll get to that game in a second. Very good game. Honestly, probably either that one or Nuggets Clippers, best game of the weekend. Let me know what y'all think, chat. I'm probably leaning Nuggets Clippers, but that Rockets did a good job of making that game a game in the second half. But Curry did hit some ridiculous shots to ice it. So we'll get there in a second. Moving on, we got Orlando and Boston. Game 1, Boston wins 103-86 behind. Sorry, I have this. I tried today since I didn't watch the game as much. I'm on NBA.com instead of ESPN. Usually I just go on ESPN when I have all these games up, but I thought, maybe there'd be a little bit more information on ESPN or on NBA. Not really loving the layout as much. Probably going to go back to ESPN. Led by 30 points from Derek White. I do remember that. Derek White was hooping in this one. 30 points from him, 7 of 12 from beyond the arc, 10 of 18 from the field. So shooting over 50% from the field and 58% from the three. That's gonna be tough to stop the Celtics when you got Derek White shooting like that. Looking at elsewhere, we got 17 points from Tatum, 16 from Brown. So good games for both of those guys. And then 19 from Peyton Pritchard off the bench. So that's the thing with Boston and why I'm so high on this team. They just have so many guys that can just be the ones to beat you. I mean, Tatum and Brown had good games, 16, 17 points. Tatum did have 14 rebounds, but, they didn't have spectacular games by any means. And then you had Derek. So you're like, okay, great. We can win this game. We stop Tatum and Brown. Nope. Derek White drops 30 on your head. Peyton Pritchard comes off the bench, scores 19. They're just so deep. There's just so many guys that can do it for them. And that's why I just have such a hard time picking against them because you don't see that very often in the NBA. A team that they can honestly run 9, 10 guys deep. And in the postseason, benches do usually kind of shorten, but Boston honestly doesn't need to because they just have that many high quality players. On the Orlando side, got to give props to Paolo Banchero. Did have 36 points this one, as well as 11 rebounds. So he was doing his best out there. He's a lot of fun to watch. I don't know, because Orlando definitely took a step back this year, Grant, because he was injured. But Paolo Banchero is the kind of guy where I think he can be a franchise cornerstone on a team that's competing for Eastern Conference championships, maybe in the finals. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think about that. And Orlando is a destination enough city where maybe they could get some free agents, but right now, definitely still a young team. 23 points from Franz Wagner, too. That's what I'm saying. He's got a good young running mate where it's kind of the two of them could build something together. Granted, Wagner was a minus 15 in this one, so defensively struggled a little bit, as well as, only shot 1 of 6 from beyond the arc. You'd like to see that improve, especially, 23 points on 24 shots. Not the greatest game, but we'll see if he can turn it around. And then other than that, the next leading score was Jonathan Isaac with 7. So that's just kind of the problem, is like I'm saying here, Boston has all these pieces where Orlando, it's Paulo, Franz, and then it's like there's not really a solid guard here. Like we're going with Corey Joseph as our starting point guard. Corey Joseph, who it's had 0 points, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a starting 2 with 6 points. Like that's a little dicey. Like that's where they're going to kind of need to add some more guys. I'm just kind of looking here. Anything else really notable in this game? No, I mean, I'll show the chart here just because I think this is the one thing I am digging kind of hear about NBA.com as opposed to ESPN. I think these charts are pretty fun. Maybe I'm just a sucker for colors. That could be it too. So yeah, Boston pretty much just like led throughout. Orlando had a couple leads, but then like the second half is just all green. Lead just kept getting bigger, led by as much as 19. So this is one, like I said before, Boston's my pick to win the finals. I think they win this. I did pick the series in a sweep, so I don't know. This one, like I said, didn't really get to watch these like midday games. I didn't get to watch a bunch of, and just they weren't the most intriguing, if I'm being honest. Like I just kind of think the higher seed in a lot of these series, just a lot better team. Yeah, you can kind of see here like fast break points really dominated for Boston. Same thing, second chance points. Like they're too talented of a team to be given those second chance points. Like actually, the rebounding battle was close, but yeah, just. I don't know. I just don't think Orlando can compete with Boston, if we're being honest here. I think everyone in the chat can probably agree with that. So I think Boston should handle this series pretty easily. So moving on, we got Cleveland knocks off the Heat 121-100. Sorry, I gotta take a drink here. Well, that's the Yap. That's what I'm saying. Feel free to drop any takes you guys have here in the comments. Definitely helps. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking. I've done this in the past. I know. It was Worldwide Wob. If he's a good file for NBA. He used to do this before. It was like Radio Roulette, where he would be live like on YouTube, but also to have like a Twitter space going, or kind of like on the radio, like you can call in kind of thing. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that for some of these late night shows, because me and the caller can have a little bit more of a conversation that might be a little bit more intriguing for people to drop their takes rather than kind of trying to type it out here in the comments. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that. I could do that where I'm live here on YouTube, but then especially now that we don't go live on the X channels, could do a space on the Fast Break Twitter account at the same time, and have points of the show where people can kind of call in, drop their takes on games. So if you guys think that'd be interesting, let me know, and I'll try to pitch it, see if that'd be something we could do here, because I was fun. I did used to listen to it a lot. I think now it's on like Sirius XM, so I have not been able to check it out, but I'll have to look. So yeah. But yeah, Cleveland knocks off Miami 121-100. This was one, it didn't really look, I don't think this one ever got particularly close. Yeah, it's another one. Let me just keep showing these charts. It's probably good visuals rather than just me up here yapping. So Cleveland leads the whole time. Miami led by 2. Largest lead, 2. And then Cleveland just dominates throughout. 21 points, especially by the fourth quarter. Like it was over. It was funny, actually. Yeah, I guess time. Okay, 3 times tied. Never mind. I read that wrong. I'm just kind of looking here. Anything that really stands out? Yeah, turnovers. Miami turning over 14 times to Cleveland 7. That's something when you're the underseeded team. That's not something you can do. You got to protect the ball. You got to value the basketball, because that's going to come back. That's going to come back and kill you. And looking here. See, I wish it had points off turnovers as well as turnovers. I believe on ESPN they do. This is kind of another one. Cleveland just dominates. We'll go through the box real quick here. Leader was Donovan Mitchell in this one with 30 points for the Cavs. And then Darius Garland as well, 27 points for him. 28 off the bench for Ty Jerome too. That's actually crazy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the Cavs and the Celtics are just in this other tier in the East than everyone else because they just have so many options, guys that they can go to. Like when you have Ty Jerome as your second leading scorer off the bench, like you're cooked. So very good game for him. I don't look at anything else notable here. Jared Allen, 12 and 11 for him, so nice double-double. Evan Mobley with 9, but I mean, it was plus 10. So, like, all the starters, like, played very well, and then obviously Ty Jerome. So, really good game all around, really nothing. I guess maybe the one guy you kind of single out of not a great game is DeAndre Hunter, the trade deadline acquisition. No points, was a -2. But like I said, he didn't really get much run just because he wasn't having a great game. Only 16 minutes played for him. So, on the Miami side, scrolling back up here, it was 24 from Bam. Obviously, he's going to have to be their leader now with Jimmy gone, especially, he has that playoff experience. 21 points for Tyler Hero as well. I've been really impressed with him. He really has stepped up for the Heat here as kind of that lead scoring guard. So that has been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, he shot 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, so shooting it pretty well. I mean, 7 of 18 in total. Maybe you would want that shooting percentage a little bit better. But yeah, he's gonna kind of have to be the one Miami leans on, I think, if they're gonna win this series, to just kind of go back and forth their scoring with Donovan Mitchells and the Darius Garlands of the world. Excuse me. Other than that, Davion Mitchell with 18 points off the bench, but was a -20. So that's the thing. Like, these guys are scoring, but if you're defensively just not getting stops and are kind of a liability, like the playoffs, it's not, you can't just outscore teams like you can in the regular season. It's the defensive intensity ramps up. I mean, look at it. Today we had the Warriors win a game with scoring under 100 points. Every game, or no, this was the only game where both teams scored 100 or more point, and Miami just scored 100. So it's going to be a lot lower scoring games here in the postseason. I mean, people know that. I'm preaching to the choir. So Miami's going to have to figure something out defensively here, get some more stops rather than allowing Cleveland to shoot as well as they have if they're going to, find a way to win this series. And then the final game here, this was probably, definitely best game of today. Golden State goes on the road, beats Houston 95-85. Sorry, my mouth is just getting super dry. And this was just a vintage Steph Curry game, man. Some of the shots he was hitting, like I said, we'll put it back up for my guy, JJ. Curry was just ridiculous. There literally was 1-3 he made where Kevin Harlan's call is hilarious. This great call. I love Kevin Harlan. That's not even geometrically possible or something like that, where Curry's Reggie Miller's he's running out of bounds essentially when he's putting up the shot here. They got the highlights on right here on my other screen, running Sports Center here after the Vegas Minnesota game just ended. Oh, sorry, excuse me, geez. Very dry in here right now. So Houston did get out to a lead, but that was in the first quarter. They led at the end of the first, led the whole first quarter. And then Golden State really turned it on, took the lead in the second, led by as much as, 23 here in the third quarter. But I'll give Houston credit. They did go on a run. They did answer. I want to say it got cut down to as low as 4 at one point. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it's under 5. It definitely was 4. It was 3 or 4 at multiple points here in the fourth quarter. But Golden State just kind of had an answer there at the end because, like I said, Steph Curry, man, the guy's insane. He's however, I think they said he's 37 now, 36, 37. And he's still just cooking guys at this age. 31 points for him, 5 of 9 from 3, 12 of 19 from the field as a whole. Also had 3 assists and 6 rebounds to go with it. So he's getting it done on all areas. And now no more Clay, no more Splash Bros, but he has playoff Jimmy as his running mate. Like whew. That's what I'm saying, man. This team could be scared. That's why in my tiers I put them as like a conference final. Like they're a team I could see going to the conference finals just because they have that experience. And while Draymond's lost a step, there's no more Clay. Adding Jimmy Butler definitely like rejuvenated this team. He has 25 points in the game as well as 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He's a plus 14. Him and Brandon Pajemski were their, the plus minus leaders. Pajemski also had 14. Really good game from him. He's he has really stepped up as a kind of secondary guard. So that's been a lot of fun to watch. Shot 5 of 13 from the field with 3 of 8 from beyond the arc. So not the greatest shooting game, but still pretty solid. And also had 8 rebounds and 5 assists. So like he's getting it done other ways as well as 2 steals. So pretty good game from him. Like if you can get guys like that really contributing to go with Steph and Jimmy, this Golden State team, they're going to be very tough to beat. I don't look at anything else that stands out. Draymond Green, only 4 points for him, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. So nothing crazy from Draymond. Yeah, it really just kind of was just Steph, Pajemski, and Jimmy Butler. But other guys like playing solid, playing their roles. No really like crazy. The only standout like plus minus was Gary Payton. The second was minus 10. But like I said, he only plays 15 minutes, so nothing too killer there. On the Houston side, they're led by 26 points from Alfred Şengün. That is kind of the one advantage I will say that Houston does have in this series. I do think they probably have the best big on the floor in Şengün. 26 points from him. He was a minus 7, but also grabbed 9 rebounds. So, they might kind of have to lean on him a little bit more, especially, when a guy like Jalen Green only had 7 points, Fred VanVleet only had 10, and Green shot the ball very poorly, 3 of 15 from the field, 0 of 4 from beyond the arc. Like, they're going to need a lot better game from him if they're going to have a chance in this series. I still think they do. That's like what I'm saying is it's just one game. Granted, now they have lost home court. So that is kind of, devastating here. It is devastating, but like not insurmountable. You can come back from that. But as a young team, first time really here in the playoffs team, to kind of lose that in game 1 is tough. Like they need to win game 2. I don't think they're winning both games in Golden State by any means. And, if you go back home down 3-1, it's very difficult. Golden State is a team that has blown a 3-1 lead before. But yeah, Houston, like I said, just kind of need better guard play, especially if Curry and Pajemski are going to play that well. You're going to need someone to kind of answer that. And they just did not get that. I mean, all their starters were a minus in this one. Amen Thompson's probably a guy you want to look for a better game from too. He was minus 16, only had 8 points, took 9 shots, missed all 4 free throws too. Like that's something that can't happen. So probably looking for a little bit more from him. And yeah, Dylan Brooks can't be a minus 13. That's a guy you're really leaning on to be one of your better defenders, and they just did not get it from him in this game. So Golden State takes game 1 here in the series. So that's going to wrap up all the game 1s. Like I mentioned, so we're going to have live streams every Sunday and Wednesday night. Next Sunday it'll be earlier. Like I said, with Eastern just traveling, it had to be a little bit later tonight. So appreciate those of you who are here watching live, and then obviously, appreciate those of you watching after. So yeah, like I said, next show will be Wednesday. Like I said, my goal is to kind of go like halftime around the latest game. So on Wednesday, once again, we got Rockets Warriors. That's 8:30 tips Central. So yeah, probably I would say like with 9:45 around, go live on Wednesday. But yeah, just kind of bouncing through the schedule. So quick, we have tomorrow it's Pistons, Knicks, and then Clippers, Nuggets. So Knicks are favored in this one. I'd say I'm probably rocking with the Knicks again. Sometimes after taking a heartbreaking loss, it can be hard to bounce back. And just I think the aura of the Garden might just be a little bit too much for this Detroit team. So I'm going to go with the Knicks to take that one. And then Clippers, Nuggets. Clippers are actually favored, and might have to rock with them. Like I said, I think this is a series that goes 7. I think it's going to be back and forth the whole time. So, I might go Clippers take game 2 here. On Tuesday, We got Bucks Pacers on NBA TV at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Pacers are favored in that one. And I guess my pick really depends on like if Dame's playing. If Dame's playing, the Bucks might have a chance. If Dame's not playing, I'm going Pacers again. Just really did not see anything from the Bucks to have like confidence in picking them. Granted, I got to think they're going to play better than they did on Saturday. Then at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern on TNT, we got OKC Memphis game 2. OKC's favored by 14.5. Makes sense. They won by 50. Going with OKC again. And then the final game of the night, 9 Central, 10 Eastern on TNT. Timberwolves, Lakers. Lakers are favored. I got to think they respond. I got to think Minnesota doesn't shoot as well. So give me the Lakers to take that game. Then on Wednesday, we got Magic Celtics at 6 Central, 7 Eastern on TNT. Boston's favored by 12.5. I think Boston wins it. I don't know if they cover that. Maybe that does seem kind of like a high total, but I'm definitely taking Boston to win. Then at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern on NBA TV, we got Cleveland, Miami game 2. Same thing. Cleveland favored by 12.5. I'm taking them to win. And then that final game, like I said, that will go live around halftime of Rockets Warriors game 2. Rockets are favored in this one. I think I've taken all favorites. But no, I mean, I'll keep. I guess I'm going to. I'll be square. I think Houston responds. I think they're a talented enough team that they're not going to go down 0-2 into Golden State. Because then, like I said, I think if Houston loses that game, this series is over in five games, 6 max. Where like Golden State's winning both at home, or winning at least 1 or 2. Like Golden State's not losing both at home, kind of thing. So yeah. So let me know your guys' picks here if you're watching live in the chat or if you're watching after. It's gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, we're gonna be doing this all postseason, Sunday and Wednesday nights. So appreciate you guys watching live. Appreciate the support. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel here on the Variety Sports Network. Make sure to follow me, Shoot the Rock on Twitter, as well as the Fast Break account on Twitter, because we're gonna have a lot of content and just takes going on here on these nights where we're not live. And like I said, I'm gonna try to do maybe those spaces. I don't know if we'll incorporate that to the show. Maybe it'll be something separate. So still trying to figure that out here. So lots of content gonna be coming this way for the postseason. So appreciate you guys all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.